Welcome to day 23 of our 40 Days of Strangers on the Way. I'm very excited to introduce you to two dads, two fathers that I met in this story, and I'm just so moved by this being today's story because when this releases, I will be at Asbury University for work. And if you haven't heard, they're experiencing an outpouring of the love of God on their campus among their college students, and some of the world has been coming to see, to experience it, and to help shepherd the students. And so I will be there with our fusion team, and we will be just helping shepherd and pray for the students that are there, as well as participating in the Collegiate Day of Prayer, which has been hosted on the third Thursday of February for the past 200 years. This is the 200th anniversary, and this has been planned to be at Asbury for a number of months and just happens to coincide with what God's doing. And how that relates to today's story is the students have been saying that this outpouring is gentle and peaceful and sweet. And in past revivals, there's been a lot of power, a lot of movement, a lot of like energy and bang. But this outpouring has been one of gentleness and peace and sweetness. And I just feel like what God is doing on the earth is revealing himself to the world as Father, as loving Father. And I believe this revival that's coming, where people are being awakened to the love of Jesus, is going to be one where we have a greater revelation of the love of our dad in heaven, our Father in heaven. And I think it's what the world needs. This generation has been dubbed the most fatherless generation that we've ever had. And so it makes a lot of sense that God would be showing up as a father in this way. And the impacts of fathers and mothers are profound. And I believe we all have a part to play in what's going on in the world. And it's just going to keep spreading. And I really believe God's placing people in family in this season. And so it's my joy to introduce you to Derrick and Dave, a father's masterpiece, a daddy's love. You are the child of a kind, strong, and engaged father, a father wise enough to guide you in the way, generous enough to provide for your journey, offering to walk with you every step. This is perhaps the hardest thing for us to believe, really believe, deep down in our hearts, so that it changes us forever, changes the way we approach each day. A quote from John Eldridge. One winter night, I participated in our church's emergency training for volunteers. Before the official training began, the leaders asked us to introduce ourselves to a few people we didn't know. As I was driving to the training, I asked God to prepare the way because I knew there wouldn't be many people there that I knew well. During that time of introduction, I met Derrick and Dave. Derrick introduced himself first, and I soon learned he would be leading the safety training that night. I noticed a little girl near him and asked if she was his daughter. He smiled and said yes, and explained that she wanted to join him tonight. Throughout the training, it was a joy to watch her proudly look up at her dad as he taught the safety lesson. Then I met Dave. Our pastor asked us to share a fun fact with each other, and his fun fact was that his daughter was at her prom tonight. He beamed as he shared that with me. I could sense his love for his little girl, and I smiled, envisioning her in her beautiful dress at the dance. There's this really wonderful book about a woman's soul called Captivating. In it, author Stacey Eldridge writes, "Little girls need the tender strength of their fathers. They need to know that their daddies are strong and will protect them. They need to know that their fathers are for them. Above all, a little girl learns the answer to her question, 'Am I lovely? Do you see me? Do you want to see me?' from her father." Remember twirling skirts? We twirled in front of our daddies. We wanted to know, "Daddy, am I lovely? Am I captivating?" From them, we learn that we are delighted in, that we are special, or that we are not. How a father relates to his daughter has an enormous effect on her soul, for good or for evil. As I thought of Derrick and Dave with their daughters, I felt so grateful that they were giving their daughters a strong foundation of love. They were tangibly showing their daughters a glimpse into how God feels about them. It was beautiful. However, I know that this is not always the case. Some daughters have absent fathers or abusive fathers or passive fathers. In my life, my dad did the best he could, but he had a really difficult childhood that bled into how he fathered me. But I have good news. We have the perfect Father. He really is the only one who can answer our heart's deepest questions and fill our soul's deepest longings. So today, whether you're missing your earthly father, still processing wounds he imparted on you, or basking in gratitude for his love, I write to remind you that you also have a forever Father who adores you. This is what he says about you. You are precious and honored in my sight, and I love you. Isaiah 43, verse 4. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1, verse 5. You are my masterpiece. Ephesians 2, verse 10. Nothing will separate you from my love. Romans 8, verses 38 and 39. And I will be a father to you, and you will be my sons and daughters. 2 Corinthians 6, verse 18. Perhaps take a twirl in front of the mirror and let those words soak into your heart today. Let's wonder. What has your experience been like understanding God as a good father? What has your experience been like understanding God as a good father? And then let's activate. Ask God to show you his love today. Whether you are a daughter or a son, ask God to show you what type of father he is to you. Journal your longings to him and write his response back to you. Ask God to show you his love today. Whether you are a daughter or a son, ask God to show you what type of father he is to you. And then let's yield. Look in the mirror and declare these truths over yourself today. I am precious and honored in God's sight, and he loves me. You can repeat after me. I am precious and honored in God's sight, and he loves me. Before God formed me in the womb, he knew me. Before God formed me in the womb, he knew me. I am God's masterpiece. I am God's masterpiece. And nothing will separate me from God's love. Nothing will separate me from God's love.